Hi, Steve Riley. Welcome to this episode of Great Practice, Great Life. Today we have a special guest speaker, and I've asked him to come help us wrestle with one question. And this is a question that I've gotten from lots of lawyers. It's more of an objection or frustration or a sense of confusion. I have a lot of lawyers go, well, Steve, you don't understand. You can't build a niche in a small town. Hey, Steve, you don't understand. You can't do this in a rural community. Hey, Steve, you can't do this because my community's poor. And so today I've asked Ronnie Morton to help me talk about the strategies to become the big fish in the in a small town. The big fish in a small pond. And Ronnie is in the poor state in a small community in a very small town, and he's the biggest player in his niche. So Ronnie, welcome to the podcast. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, Steve.
It's an absolute delight. So let's kind of set this up because I do want you to talk about how you, from a marketing perspective, have positioned yourself as the go-to law firm in your town, and we'll talk about that. But let's just spend 2 to 3 minutes to talk about how you got here. So how did you get into the practice of law? I mean, was this something that you just, boom, I'm going to be a lawyer, or how did this happen?
Yeah, I always planned on being a lawyer. My uncle was a lawyer, and it seemed like a nice lifestyle. He had stuff that we didn't have, and I always looked up to him. And we spent a lot of time there growing up. So I was always going to be a lawyer since fourth grade or so, and that stayed consistent throughout college. And it went straight from undergrad to law school.
So your uncle influenced you, and then you had, my recollection, was a very interesting career path before you opened up your own practice. Let's talk about that just for a minute, because it's fun.
Yeah, so I left law school thinking I was going to be a big time plaintiff lawyer. So I went and worked with for an asbestos firm with a couple of lawyers, and we had lots of cases. I was handling cases in Alabama, Mississippi, and Louisiana. And did that for a couple of years. And we everything was going well. It was kind of, we can't pay what big law pays, but you'll get bonused on the end. Whenever we make money, you'll make money, was kind of the mantra. And that all, worked fine. That carrot's out there. And then we hit a large verdict of several $1 million, and then a large settlement of several $10 million. And I got my first bonus check, which was $10,000. And so I realized that I wouldn't live long enough to make money in that practice. And so left,
at least with that firm, right? At least
with that firm. That's correct. And so left there and actually became in-house counsel at a chicken operation. So Mississippi, our largest agribusiness is poultry. And I became, in-house counsel and ultimately general counsel for a poultry operation. And, things rocked along. It's a commodity business. And so some years are good, some years are bad. But, around age 35, I kind of looked around and said, I'm 35 years old and I've got one client. And that didn't seem like a good place to be. So I worked out with them. They were pleased with my work. I knew the company and had history and things. And so I worked out with them where I could leave, but still stay on as their lead counsel. And so I was kind of their outhouse lawyer, so to speak, and which was great. It, provided a base of work, good work that we did, and then also allowed me to then develop other clients, which I did. The mistake I made, because they don't teach you this in law school, is that I thought I was going to be like my uncle and just have a general small town practice. And so you kind of, build it and they will come. And I was doing divorces, and I was doing wills, and I was doing, forming corporations and various things. And what I discovered is, despite the fact that I had lots of contacts in large law firms and things through my years as general counsel, I wasn't getting any referrals from anybody. And it's because they didn't view me as doing any particular thing. So they just kind of knew you were out there. But, if they have work, they have estate planning work, they send it to an estate planner. If they have, family law work, they send it to a family law lawyer, and they don't think about the jack of all trades. And so that rocked along for a while, and I struggled. Ultimately, that company went bankrupt, and so that base of business went away. And it was, I was doing, again, lots of things, not being able to build up any kind of systems of any consistency because we were doing too much stuff. And so I've finally realized I really have to do one of two things. I've either got to leverage through staff like the larger firms did and build associates and all that, which I did not want to do because I wanted more freedom and ability to act and not have that giant overhead and such. Plus, I don't really like dealing with people and the personnel issues and things of that nature. Or I could build with technology. And the natural space to build with technology, to leverage technology, was estate planning, because we could do good work, high quality work. People would, you could charge for it, and the technology would do a lot of the work for you. So that's what I did. On top of that, I was practicing in my small town, which is it's Clinton, Mississippi. So it has a population of about 25,000 people. It's a suburb of Jackson, but not a wealthy suburb by any means. And a lot of the work that we're a certified retirement community, which is indicative of the fact that we've got a lot of older people here. And so a lot of the threshold work that came through the door was people, A, wanting their estate planning done for themselves, and B, asking questions about, hey, mom's going to the nursing home, how do we save the house type questions.
Gotcha.
And so as a result of that, I kind of figured out, I need to develop a real specialty in this area. And so I did. I kind of self-educated and became one of the go-to guys from a standpoint of knowledge in this narrow field as a result of that.
So as you're listening, you made a decision. I'm going to focus in this area, but we didn't turn down the work that was coming in the door, and we took it for cash flow purposes to help transition, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Okay, great. Yep. Perfect. Thank you. Keep going.
And so we had to decide what the marketing was, and there are a lot of different marketing avenues that are available, to lawyers, referral-based marketing, public marketing, TV advertising in the right circumstance, now online, digital, which wasn't a thing back then, but certainly is a thing today. And what we did was all of it. So I didn't really rely on one source. So one of the things that we started doing about 15 years ago was something called Boot Camp for Advisors, where we did a 2-day boot camp for financial professionals, CFPs, CPAs, insurance advisors, other financial advisors, where they get CE credit. We initially did it for free. And it's 2 days. It's a big production thing. 2 days worth of 16-hour credits. So some of them can knock out their whole year of required education in those 2 days, so that we could get out and meet those people, and they would know who I was and such as that. And we've done that every year since then, other than last year, between COVID and I had the opportunity to go see my son in Egypt. So I just canceled last year. But other than that, we've been pretty consistent with doing that. In fact, we're doing one tomorrow, as a 2-day event. And we do them at various levels. We had to do as many as 10 a year. So we're doing them almost every month, except for the Christmas season. And then we kind of shed it down to twice a year. And now we just do an annual event. But that keeps our name out there. We're constantly, have drip going on to those professionals. Even if they don't come, they see my stuff, so they kind of know who I am and what I do. But those that come, I become a referral source, for them. And it's great, because I'll have someone comes in and their CPA sent them, and I'll look, and he went to boot camp 4 years ago.
Right.
I'll go visit other lawyers, I'm not lawyers, but other, professionals. I'm at a CPA office or something, and I look on their bookshelf, and it's my Boot Camp for Advisor binder that's up there. So it's, that's an available resource that's staring him in the face anytime he comes across this. So that's one avenue that we've done.